every single day. I'm just refining the presentation and learning a lot as I go along, because there's so many pieces to this puzzle, and it's very exciting to learn so many things that are currently off my radar screen. I'm also streaming on Instagram. If you're on Instagram, don't go there actually. You want to just stay on YouTube. Stay on YouTube or Twitch. If you're on Twitter, X, I'm also on that platform as well, streaming. I'm just checking different messages across social media as I do this presentation. Let me get some water before I begin. Alright, how to poop fast and eliminate chronic constipation. Get into this right now. Today we're going to cover a lot of material. Maybe you're new on my channel, watching these videos for the first time. No worries, I'm going to cover from beginning to end to the best of my ability. When we're looking at our digestive system, it could be very intimidating just looking at this photo. Most people, including myself, I did not know what I was looking at. I never learned anything about the digestive system before. And looking at a photo like this over time, I start to get a better grasp of what this picture actually entails. Food enters your mouth, down the esophagus, and your stomach is right here, which your digestive enzymes start to break down the food. And for most people, that's where their knowledge stops. They think that, okay, I ate the food and now it's in my stomach, and what happens next? I sure didn't know. Next, the food will enter your small intestine. Your small intestine is a very long piece of pipework. It's 4.5 meters, followed by your large intestine, which is another 1.5 meters in length. When we're looking at our digestive system, to simplify even more, without looking at all the other organs that are in place, just take a quick look at the simplified photo. Food goes through your mouth, ingestion of food, down the esophagus, into your stomach. Digestive enzymes break down the food. Food enters your small intestines next. Nutrient absorption. Your small intestine is 4.5 meters. And later, it will enter your large intestine, which is only 1.5 meters in length, and out the back for elimination. That's it. Just focusing on that. Now, for most people, many people around the world, we're chronically constipated, including myself just a couple years ago. I had chronic constipation. I tried different medications or different herbal blends. Nothing was working. I said I was looking at this particular platform on Google Trends. This is the keyword analysis. I wanted to know and understand how many people are actually keying in this keyword, constipation. As you can see on this chart, this is a recession-proof keyword. It has never contracted over time. It doesn't matter if you're searching this keyword in the English language, Spanish, Russian, Ukrainian, Chinese, Japanese, African languages, Portuguese. Everyone is searching for this keyword. This is a trending keyword, and nobody has any real good solution how to fix it. What is chronic constipation? This picture simplifies it. You're sitting there on the toilet. You're huffing and puffing, begging and pleading, making deals with the Almighty. But at the end of the day, after all that work, after all that straining, okay, you're getting blood vessels popping on your temples. This is what you get. When elimination is incomplete, residues of old feces can build up in layers on the walls of the colon. As they putrefy, they can cause health problems, pain, and discomfort. Putrefy simply means decay and rot. Many people all around the world has this problem, talking about millions and millions of people. Now, chronic constipation happens in the large intestine primarily. There's a lot of waste material that is packed in. We need to go from the picture on the left to the picture on the right. Some people may be asking me, well, John, am I chronically constipated? How do you define chronic constipation? I make it very simple. If you're not going to the bathroom and talking about bowel movements consistently every single day, you're chronically constipated. Some people might say, well, I'm 2 days constipated and it's very consistent. Or some people say, I'm a 3-day kind of a routine. There's some people, they say, sometimes I have to go with the wait 4 to 5 days in a row before I have a bowel movement. And they think somehow that's okay. I'm telling you, that's not going to be okay. Your 2 to 3 days return to 4 to 5 days. 4 to 5 days, going to be 5 to 6 days. And now you're a whole week in without a bowel movement. That's going to cause a lot of misery down the line. And today I'm going to give you guys a lot of practical advice, practical pessimism. People sometimes they see the world so optimistically, they don't understand the road ahead is actually very difficult, very tough. And I want to bring that to your attention. So that's the very beginning part of our digestive system, just recognizing that this is the photo most people look at. It's a very long piece of pipework, and I continue to use different analogies throughout this presentation. What goes through your mouth must exit out the back as waste material. It has to be a 1-to-1 ratio. A lot of people, they're chronically constipated. What comes out are little sheet pellets. It's completely dried up. They're not having a proper exit of their bowel movement. And over time, this particular colon, your large intestine, begins to get caked up with waste material. It begins to harden. And more waste material gets trapped inside this colon. Just think of it as it's a piece of pipework. Okay, now you're just putting trash into this pipework, and you're not going to the bathroom. There are going to be certain segments. It's hardened over time, and the narrowing of that passage gets narrower and narrower over time. What could happen to you over time if you do not fix this? Right here, here's some practical pessimism. A toxic megacolon. Now, we're not looking at Animal Planet. This is not some type of a veterinarian office. This is a human colon that they extracted because it was full of disease, full of trash, full of constipation. I'm going to read it real quick. Toxic megacolon is a life-threatening complication of inflammatory bowel diseases. These diseases can be painful and cause permanent damage to the large and small intestines. IBDs include ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, and infections caused by this other colitis. Toxic megacolon is characterized by swelling and dilation of large intestine due to the inflammation and accumulation of large amount of gas. Do you guys really think that's just gas? We're only dealing with gas? Is that really the root of the problem that we're dealing with? Or could there be other problems this person is not dealing with? Could it be all the trash that they've been eaten all over the years and accumulated, and it became more and more stagnant, more inflammation on top? The doctors don't know what to do with this problem, so they said, you know what? We're going to have to somehow cut this out. What are they cutting out? They're removing this whole colon. It's called a colectomy, right? So right now, you're dealing with different medical procedures. Let's just talk about, there are different types of colectomies. Over here, this is the left portion. This is the descending portion of your colon that is being removed. And after what they do this plug and play kind of a situation. It's absolutely ridiculous. They're going to attach this part with this part, kind of make it go. You guys understand what I'm trying to do? Over here, this is another part where the end of your colon is somehow very, very problematic and the doctor cut it out. Now, you're going to have to put a hole right here, and it is connected to a poop bag. A lot of patients have this. If you're ever in the ICU, you may see people have this. There was something that was wrong with their small and large intestines, and there are many different procedures regarding the stoma and the bag. Sometimes it could be attached to your small intestines. Over here, we're dealing with the ascending portion of the large intestine. So they remove this part. Over here, this section over here, it is connected to your small intestine. So they say, oh, this part is removed, we're just going to plug and play again, connect it to the large intestine. Recognizing these hemicolectomies, different types of colectomies are very, very real. And I'm not sure how many people actually get this procedure done. There may be people in the world, they may need this procedure, but they don't have that access. Now, this one is absolutely crazy. I'm not even going to pronounce it, but over here is simply the complete removal of your large intestine. They're reconnecting your small intestine and trying to create some type of a pouch. These are not, I'm not joking with this. You guys need to go look these up, look up these colectomies, different forms of colectomies, and what is the root cause? What is a possible root cause? Why do people go for these procedures? Well, one of them, from my logical mind, has to be chronic constipation. The waste material is not going out. Over time, the body becomes inflamed. Inflammation on top of inflammation, so becoming more stagnant. Now they have to go for a big medical procedure. If you are 1 day or 2 day chronically constipated, you're blessed. I want you guys to continue to find ways that can help alleviate your constipation problem. You do not want to wait until you start to get something serious like a toxic megacolon, and now you're in the doctor's office and they're removing everything and they say you still have to come back. Why? We got to start messing around with your small intestine. We're going to create a pouch, okay? And you may have to wear adult diapers. The large intestine is also responsible for getting the pollen out some water material, okay? And if you lose that function, everything just falls right through, and you may have that sense of urgency to, or just go to the bathroom. Or you lose that sensation. Actually, you may lose that sensation because you no longer have your large intestine telling you, oh, I have something that needs to exit. Now, taking a quick look, what other problems are out there that you must be aware of? Over here, your colon could become severely displaced. What is displacement of your colon? Coming back to our photo, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Well, this is the colon. If you have a healthy colon, this is what it should look like. Food enters your small intestine, 4.5 meters, nutrient absorption, and over time, food gets processed into the large intestines for feces formation. You used to see this ascending portion of your colon followed by the transverse going across the left side of your body. It's going to go up a little bit, okay, before the descending portion comes in and out the back through elimination. Now, looking at this scan of a lady that has a displaced colon, her colon is all over the place, y'all. Look at this. And some people, they may be experiencing this. They have chronic constipation. They don't know why. Now, the colon is coming up here, and now it has a kink in the hose, and it comes back down again. And now it swings back up again. Now, when this waste material is trying to go up here when she's standing up, that waste material is also fighting against gravity. It has to come up to this point, kind of like a roller coaster, kind of fight its way back up. Look at how high this colon is. It's up in her chest. I would not be surprised if this patient has trouble breathing. And finally, that dead waste material gets moved around this corner and down this section for waste elimination. There are so many problems people can face, but most people don't even treat it early enough. If you're only a few days chronically constipated, you need to fix it somehow, some way, and I will discuss some strategies, some protocols that I've been using the last couple of years that has helped me. Now, none of this professional medical advice, so you got to continue to do your own research and understand, hey, this may be for me or something that's not for me. But principally, it's still the same. I do not care what you do. If you want to fix constipation, you need to somehow get this waste material out of the body. Over here, some people experience something called diverticulitis. Now, I'm just reading these. These are just different medical websites different things like that. Do I have to agree everything that they write? Of course not. I'm going to continue to do my own research. I'm just reading and kind of see what they think, and then I have to reevaluate it again and think, okay, what is really causing these problems? I'm going to drink a little bit of coffee. Throughout this presentation, I will also go through my different social medias. I want to see if there are questions I can help answer. So, I click on the wrong. So back on my studio on that one. So if you find this presentation to be helpful, I want you guys just to leave some comments, show me some love, okay? And over here on my Twitter, also Twitch, okay? I'm also on some Instagram action, but I get more viewers on my YouTube. And if you have questions, just pop them in. I may not get to them right away because I'm switching back and forth. I'm going to close down this window. Dang, that is slow. But no worries, I'll come back to it later. I'm going to continue on with the presentation. Diverticulitis. It occurs when pouches called diverticula start to form the GI tract and become inflamed and infected. This condition commonly occurs in the Western population and can be seen in 10% of people over the age of 40 and 50% of people over 60. There are millions and millions of people over 60. They're saying 50% has this condition. The rate of this disease typically increases with age. Scientists believe that this condition is due to not eating enough fibers. Not eating enough fiber leads to constipation. Here we go, constipation, which puts extra pressure on the colon walls, and this causes diverticula or bulges to form in the weak areas of the colon. The risk factors for diverticulitis may include age over 40, male, overweight, eating a low fiber diet, eating higher fat and red meat, not enough exercise, taking non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs like aspirin, ibuprofen, steroids, opioids, and smoking. Moreover, the signs and symptoms of this condition include pain, tenderness in the left lower side of the abdomen, nausea, vomiting, chills, cramps in the lower abdomen, constipation, diarrhea, and rectal bleeding. Look at that mess. Look at that mess. This is the descending portion, and now you got all these little, what do they call them? Bulges, okay? Diverticula bulges to form the weak areas of the colon. Just pockets of inflammation that begin to form. And all that is going to cause more pressure on your other organs. Coming back on my YouTube just real quick, I just want to make sure my live is on point. What else do we have? There are people out there dealing with ulcerative colitis. Ulcerative colitis, it is a chronic condition that happens when you have inflammation in the colon. Most people usually experience periods of inflammation, experience periods of symptom flare-ups, followed by periods of remission without symptoms. Signs and symptoms include diarrhea, bloody stools, abdominal cramping, and weight loss. Treatments include medication and surgery. So there's still some types of inflammation that is taking place in the colon. And what do doctors do in a situation like this? They usually prescribe corticosteroids or immunosuppressants, biologics. And what these drugs do, these are immunosuppressants, and temporarily you may not have those symptom flare-ups. but did you really solve the root of the problem? If you're still chronically constipated, that inflammation is going to come back, okay? Because that waste material is going to putrefy. Over here, you got that ulcerative surface. It's kind of like if you have a whole bunch of trash in other parts of your house. Bad smell, okay? Also inflammation. Coming here, we also have Crohn's disease. What is Crohn's disease? It's another group of conditions known as IBDs, inflammatory bowel diseases. This condition occurs when there's inflammation in the small intestine and colon. The main symptoms of Crohn's disease are diarrhea, stomach aches or cramps, blood in the stools, tiredness or fatigue, and weight loss. It is thought to believe Crohn's disease is caused due to genes, a problem in the immune system, smoking, a previous stomach bug, and an abnormal balance of gut bacteria. The risk factors for this condition include family history, smoking, certain medications like antibiotics, birth control pill, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs such as aspirin, ibuprofen, and a high-fat diet. Now I'm just reading this, doesn't mean that I agree with it, all right? So the Crohn's disease not only is inflammation that is taking place in the large intestine, it is both the small and large intestine. Very, very messy. I was listening to a comedian, Kelsey Cook. She was explaining how she personally has IBD. And her husband, he has chronic constipation. And they live in a house with only one bathroom. So there are times when her husband was just sitting on the toilet for a very long time because the doctors tell him you shouldn't push. So he's just sitting on the toilet half an hour at a time, swiping on his phone. And all of a sudden, her inflammatory bowel disease starts to come on in the form of diarrhea. I mean, she's doing about her thing on whatever she's doing. All of a sudden, she has this urgency, this unction to go to the bathroom right away. So she's texting her husband. Anyway, long story short, you guys can watch this little routine on YouTube. She had to defecate in a cardboard box. That was her solution. In a relationship, if you are dealing with any type of digestive problem, you're going to have problems. I don't care who you are. That resentment is going to set in over time. As I'll discuss later in this presentation, there's so many things that can happen. It's not just a health problem, it's also a mental. It taxes you with your emotions all around. And I will give you guys some solutions later, but right now I'm just giving you guys a healthy dose of fear and a lot of practical pessimism. Rectal prolapse, all right? We were talking about how Kelsey Cook's husband was sitting very, very long on that toilet. Thankfully, he wasn't straining, but many people are. Many people around the world, because they can't have that proper bowel movement. They're constantly straining on that toilet. Over time, they may have something called a rectal prolapse. It's continuing to push. Your anus area begins to turn inside out. I grew up with my grandfather, or being around other elderly people quite consistently. And that when you were young, you always notice there is a really weird old people smell. It's just a very faint smell. Let me tell you what that is. A lot of them have chronic constipation. A lot of them have prolapsing of the rectum. So there's always some type of poop, rectal bleeding that is taking place right here. And it doesn't matter how often you shower up, you wash your clothes thoroughly, there's always that slight hint. Now, you don't even have to be old to have this. Many people are experiencing chronic constipation even in their teenage years. 18, 19, 20, or even earlier, depending on what their nutrition has been like. Have they really KPI'd this? Key performance indicator. They're key performance indicators to your health. For example, we all say that, hey, we need to brush our teeth every single day. And if you don't brush your teeth, well, over time, it's very likely you're going to get cavities, you're going to have to see the doctors, and it's very uncomfortable. Same thing here. You need to have a bowel movement twice a day. That's the KPI. If you don't have that, continue watching. What other problems could you have? You could have an anal fissure as a result of sitting on the toilet for a very long time. Now, some people, what is this fissure? A fissure is a breakage or cracking, splitting. It can be very, very painful. And this is also what causes rectal bleeding. Now, look at what these people write. The people at these medical institutions, while several factors are thought to be linked to rectal prolapse, okay, there is no clear-cut cause. An estimated 30 to 67 patients, an estimated 30% to 67% of patients have chronic constipation. Okay, so they're starting to link to chronic constipation, infrequent stools or severe straining, an additional 50% of diarrhea. In the past, this condition was assumed to be linked to giving birth multiple times by vaginal delivery. However, as many as 35% of patients with rectal prolapse never gave birth, and it can occur in men. There might be some genetic predisposition, they always use this, to this condition. In other words, some patients are more prone based on their genes to develop this condition while others don't. I also want to mention over here in that last slide, they always say that, oh, the reason why chronic constipation, you're not eating enough fibers. You're not eating enough fibers. How is fibers going to help you when you have chronic constipation like this? There's so much dead waste material inside of you, and now you're putting in more and more fiber, which is going to make you get more backed up. How's that making sense? Wouldn't it make more sense to go from the picture on the left to the picture on the right, then orchestrate a nutritional plan that is right for you? Here has some other problems. We have something called hemorrhoids or piles. Hemorrhoids are swollen veins inside your rectum or outside of your anus, which can cause pain, anal itching, and rectal bleeding. Symptoms often improve at home retreatments, but on occasion, people need medical procedures. Eating more fiber can help prevent hemorrhoids. I disagree with that. If you haven't fixed constipation thoroughly, you eating more fiber, that's going to get more backed up. You're going to get more of a dilation of the colon. This is going to get more inflamed, more dilation, okay, more displacement, and eventually you're looking at all these other symptoms. Today, I want to show you what a proctologist is. Most people don't know until they start to have all these different problems. I don't care if it's a combination of rectal prolapse, anal fissures, or hemorrhoids. There's like, oh, you got to go see your proctologist. Trust me, that is not an appointment you would look forward to going, because they're going to have to examine your behind. Proctologists are highly specialized medical doctors who are mostly called colorectal surgeons. These experts diagnose and treat conditions of the entire gastrointestinal tract, but specifically issues involving the rectum and anus. Do you really look forward to seeing your proctologist? And they said, oh, it seems that you have an anal fissure, you got some hemorrhoids, we can cut this out, we can do some patch it up, etc., and get you going right. Sounds great, right? But what is the problem upstream? If this is not dealt with, you're still going to be chronically constipated over time. Chronically constipated over time, you're still going to be straining on that toilet. Straining on the toilet, you're going to come back to this proctologist and say, I got new hemorrhoids. I got new anal fissures. I still have this discomfort. I had trouble sitting down. I can't even sleep properly because there's always this slight pressure right on my bottom. That's what a lot of people deal with. All that preparation age cream that people use eventually stops working. Now I'll just spin through my social media real quick. Ask your questions. So who am I? I'm just another regular guy. I've been learning about health for a very long time, but not only learning, I've been applying. And I'm still on the hunt for great information. I like to connect with other people that speak this language of detox. The language of detox is very different than supplementation. Most people in the natural health industry these days, they're focused on, oh, your body must be missing this. This is the reason why you need to buy X, Y, or Z supplement. I'm sure many of you have heard this rhetoric. Now, I come from the other end of the spectrum where I'm more focused on human physiology and just looking at it as a system. We go from cells to systems, okay? There is a biological component to our body. There is an electrical component to our body. There certainly is an electrical component, because what is an EKG? Electrocardiogram. Next, there is a mechanical component to our body as well. When we are discussing the digestive system, I don't care who you are, where you're from, what languages you speak, it is categorically the same. Some people, they might be taller, some people might be shorter. So this pipework has a range of different lengths. And giving people some perspective is important, so I'm going to share with you real quick just how long is this digestive system. All right, we talked about the 6 meters, right, or 20 feet. If you're looking at NBA basketball, some people, they like to watch basketball. Now, to this day, I still can't dunk, Very, very disappointed in myself. From the floor to that basketball rim is 10 feet off the floor. 10 feet, roughly 3 meters, okay? The combined length of your small and large intestines together is 20 feet, or 6 meters. You can think of it like this. Over here, you have one NBA hoop, and then you have another NBA hoop, and altogether, that combined height, combined length, is your small and large intestines combined. And most people don't know that. They're very, very confused about this pipework. So for most human adults, this is what you're dealing with. So let's read from some of these other testimonials. There are entire Facebook pages online. People are struggling with chronic constipation all day, every day. They have given up hope. They've been to the doctors. They've been to this other specialist. And they're always come back maybe to a forum, to a group where people are supporting one another on this continual struggle. Sorry to be crude, but there's a big lump of poop that won't come out. What do I do? Anyone, any ideas? Suffer from constipation now and again, especially when I have been eating crap for the past couple of weeks. I've been constipated. When I go to the toilet, nothing is coming out. Or if it does, it's also been bloated, especially upper tummy and like a trapped wind feeling. Plus, yesterday, not really got an appetite. Tried Ducales, okay, a lot of OTC medications, never really worked. Eating more healthy and now trying lactulose since Tuesday, but feels like it's just making me fart, LOL. Also to mention, been having some stress and anxiety with family members, been in hospital. What can I do to help get my tummy back to normal? Thanks. These are the internal dialogues I want to share with y'all. And there are tens and thousands of people struggling with this. We're dealing with just one Facebook group in the English language. Now just imagine all these different forums, different groups, in all these different languages sharing the same woes. The consultant has put me on procalopride and glycerol suppositories. Any reviews? Okay. Hi everyone. Had a horrible couple of days. A lot of wet would come out and I couldn't push out what was left behind. But after many attempts making me sore, I finally did go. What I wanted to ask is, do you ever feel queasy to your tummy because of constipation or bowel problems? Sometimes I think it's all the worry and stress that constipation causes. Your physical health and your emotional health, it is intertwined, categorically. If you're not having proper bowel movements on a regular basis over time, your whole mental outlook, it is just going to go down and down and down and down and down. Okay? check my comments real quick. And get some water. All right, here we go. Let's read some other testimonials or different problems people are struggling with. Unimpacted. All home remedies, OTC laxatives, enemas, dietary changes, additions, nutritional oils, quit working last month all of a sudden. The ER couldn't reach it, and their enemas didn't work. The highest dosage of lenses does nothing. And the Miralax colonoscopy prep, this is giving me overflow diarrhea. Small bits are coming off the impaction, probably from the hospital enema I got Saturday. What else can I do? I feel like the impaction is just way too big to get out. And it seems like nothing is softening enough. Now just think about you're going through your entire week and that's the whole thing, only thing you think about. Practical pessimism, okay? A healthy dose of fear for you to take action. Hello, I've been struggling with severe chronic constipation for a couple of years now, but it's only gotten worse over the last 6 months or so. I've been prescribed Trulance and lenses, highest dosage for both, and neither of these medications are working very well for me at this point. I can pass a little bit of stool, but not much, so I'm constantly extremely backed up. I have to spend about half my waking hours lying down because I'm so bloated and nauseous and often in pain. As far as OTC laxatives, nothing really works there either. Ducalax, enemas, suppositories, magnesium citrate, nothing works. I was supposed to have a colonoscopy today, but couldn't keep the bowel prep down. The procedure had been rescheduled for a month from now, and one of the nurses at my GI office prescribed a pill-based cleanse. The pill is called Sutab, and I was warned ahead of time that patients often have trouble completely emptying their bowels with this pill. So given my struggles, I'm doubtful that this will actually work for me. Here is my question. Has anyone here gone to the point where nothing works? Meds or OTC laxatives and had to have some sort of an in-office medical procedure done? I am so sick and so miserable. What about professional colonics? I'm not even sure how those work. I'll discuss that later today. If anyone has any advice or experience with this, I'll be very grateful if you could share with me what you ended up doing and what the outcome was like. Thank you. Practical pessimism, y'all. Relating it back to our body has a mechanical component to this. Just think of your body like the plumbing of your home. Under the kitchen sink, you have a garbage disposal. Every once in a while, your garbage disposal breaks down. And you gotta fix that garbage disposal right away, or you get somebody to come in and fix it for you. Because if you don't, you know that nasty smell is gonna invade your whole house. And that's what people are dealing with on a day-to-day basis. Many people, they have extremely foul body odor. I'm talking extremely repulsive. People are avoiding you. People don't call you up to go have any type of socials because they know they have to deal with your body odor. And most people are just completely oblivious. When your body's full of waste material like this, it's still going to find its way through your skin, through sweating. If you're not having a proper exit of this bowel movement, that's what's going to happen. Another way you can look at it is your house is just a series of pipes. Okay, water goes in, water goes out. Now, you got this water coming through for your toilet, and sometimes the child, they don't know what they're doing. They're throwing down your favorite toys or action heroes down this toilet. They flush it down, and then you don't know what's happening. You use the bathroom, and now all this waste material starts to back up and overflow the toilet. Think of that as chronic constipation. So if the toilet is somehow clogged right here in this pipework and you don't fix it, it's not going into the sanitary sewer, your whole house will stench. Sometimes you go to different people's houses and there's always that smell lingering in the whole atmosphere. It's awful, right? Because they haven't completely fixed their plumbing. So that lady or that person in the comments was asking about colon hydrotherapy. Let's go through it real quick. You got to continue to do your own research because I haven't done this myself. I have friends that used to be in this industry and should benefit greatly from this. Now I just want to explain what it does. What this is, it's an apparatus that you lay down and you just lay there. The colon hydrotherapist will begin to put hot water through your back end. Just like this. As they're putting hot water through your back end, they're trying to get all this waste material stuck in the colon to gently escort it out of your body. You have to communicate well with your colon hydrotherapist, letting them know just exactly what has been your nutrition been like. Be very, very upfront with them, how long you've been constipated, etc., etc. Because if they're putting in this water pressure way too quick, the colon may dilate way too quickly. It may have perforations. And now you have all this waste material spilling into the rest of your body. You may go into sepsis shock. I'm not joking. You may end up in the ER. Any type of protocol, any type of therapy, okay, there's always a risk when you're dealing with them. Even when you're dealing with my protocol, it's not for everybody, which I'll explain a little bit. But you recognize that there's also a risk if you do nothing. Have you ever thought about that? What are the risks if I don't take care of this problem? Is it going to be a combination toxic megacolon? You may have to do colectomies, different forms of colectomies. You may have a severely displaced colon. You may have diverticulitis, ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, rectal prolapse. You're going to go see a proctologist. You may have anal fissures. You may have hemorrhoids. And every single day I'm just learning more and more about the digestive system and different diseases that are attached to the system. And I'm trying to solve the problem before they occur. Recognizing if I have a slight form of chronic constipation, I need to somehow resolve it right away. I can't let it wait, I can't let it sit and pretend nothing is wrong. And a lot of people have bad breath. If you have bad breath, you also want to, or people are telling you have bad breath, you need to pay attention. It has a lot to do with this pipework. Just imagine there is all this trash stuck in your small and large intestines. You're having chronic constipation. Where's all that nasty smell going to go? It's going to come back up. You're going to burp it up. Okay? But you've been dealing with yourself for such a long time, you can't smell yourself anymore. Or you've been smelling your own farts, you don't think they're very deadly. Well, people have been telling you they're very deadly. They're avoiding you like a plague. They never invite you for socials. But still you wonder, oh, it's not that bad. Okay? This could be a great wake-up call for some of you watching this video. And you start to recognize, hey, maybe my friends are right. Maybe I do have a lot of problems I just don't pay a lot of attention. And instead of just buying the latest cologne, buying perfumes, or using some detergent to somehow suppress this, because you're not getting to the root of the problem. I'm gonna catch some water real quick. No. Today I'm going to talk about my protocol. Well, it's not my protocol. I learned it from someone else. His name is Josh Mason. And I've been doing this protocol for over 5 years. I've taught this protocol to hundreds of other people. I've had some slight modifications to this protocol. You might find the self-flush protocol online, other YouTube channels. But you look at below the comments, some people are successful with it, some people are not successful with it. I've done this protocol hundreds of times, I've coached hundreds of people, and many are successful the first time. So these small specific details I'll be sharing today are important, And if you were to follow my directions to a T, you should have a proper bowel movement. Coming back to this colon hydrotherapy, what are the limitations over here? You only clean out the large intestine. This cannot reach your small intestine. So this one only cleans out the 1.5 meters, okay? Now, my protocol here, using the simple ingredients, it is not an enema. An enema is something that you put through your back end. You might hear coffee enema or water enema, suppositories. Those are all things that you put behind the back end. I don't do that. I prepare a self-flush solution that you drink down using these simple ingredients. You need sugar-free apple cider vinegar. You need lemons, limes, or grapefruit. I've been using grapefruits for a long time. I think they're the best tasting. And you can use a little bit of, then you're gonna find some pink salt or food-grade Epsom salt. Black coffee is completely optional. So apple cider vinegar, limes, lemons, grapefruit, highly recommend this. You can use pink salt or food-grade Epsom salt. If you're worried about the sodium content, then you can use Epsom salt. Epsom salt does not have any sodium. Black coffee is completely optional. Now, let's pay attention to these directions. The night before, you're finishing dinner around 7:30 p.m., okay? The next morning around 11 a.m., on an empty stomach, make this in thermos. So the night before, finish dinner right before 7:30. You can still drink liquids after dinner, but you're not eating any late night snacks. Keep your stomach completely empty of food. You can drink liquids, that's it. Next morning you wake up, same thing. Don't eat breakfast. You can still have some liquids, don't have a whole bunch. Then you wanna make this in a stainless steel thermos. So you gotta have some tools and prepped up. I'm gonna show you a screenshot. You guys can go to the store later and buy these different tools, okay? So over here I have a bottle of water. It's about 2 liters. Next you're gonna have a metal mesh screener. Over here it's a single press squeezer. Next you're gonna find some measuring cups, and it's gotta say how many milliliters it is. This is pink salt. Stainless steel thermos, it's got to have a volume over 1 liter. And you got to have some, and if you're drinking coffee, you want to get yourself another stainless steel mug, which is such a type of material that will not break. Okay? It's important, none of these things will break. And this is how you're going to mix all these ingredients into the stainless steel thermos. You're going to add 1 tablespoon and 2 teaspoons of pink salt or Epsom salt. So together, you have 25 milliliter total of salt. You're gonna cut and squeeze 3 lemons or limes or 1 grapefruit. Filter. You don't want to have any pulp or seeds. You're gonna add a 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar. A 1/4 cup is around 60 ml. Add 2.5 cups of hot water, which is about 600 ml, and you're gonna stir it up. Stir it up, 30 seconds, 45 seconds. Make sure all the salt dissolves evenly in this hot water. Then you're gonna add another cup of room temperature water, okay, and stir it up. You just gotta bring back down the temperature of the sulfur solution, because if you only just use hot water, it's gonna be way too hot. And on your table, there should be only 3 things: water, self-flush solution, and the coffee is separate. Just 3 items right here, okay? Just want to use my directions and put all those ingredients in the stainless steel thermos. And when you start drinking this, if it's too hot, don't drink it right away. Let it cool down a little bit, but don't wait too long that the solution is already cool, okay? There's got to be some temperature to this. I've been doing this for over 5 years. Every single time I do this, it makes me slightly sweat, okay? It's not burning your mouth, but it cannot be a cool solution. Now, these are the directions. Let me drink some. You want to sip on the bottled water over here. Just take a tiny sip. Hold it in your mouth. Then you take a bigger gulp of the sulfur solution and drink it down. Take a small sip of the water, okay? Then you're gonna drink the sulfur solution. If it's too hot, don't drink it right away. And when you first begin, you're only taking tiny sips until you can get used to the taste. Because when you first begin, you're like, I hate this taste. You can also buy a stainless steel straw to help you avert that taste. And you can take a tiny sip of black coffee. You're not drinking the black coffee, you're taking a tiny sip because it helps you motivate to go through this process again and again and again. Your goal is to finish the sulfur solution first and put it in your stomach. Okay, so over here, you want to be in a very relaxed state. Find ways to relax your body, relax your mind, deep breathing. This is some classical music, Rachmaninoff, Piano Concerto 2, Movement 2, piano music, any type of music that you like. That'll get you into a very relaxed state. The more you can relax you are, the better. Because what's going to happen is that you're gradually drinking down the sulfur solution. It's going through your digestive tract, okay? It's going to go into your stomach, and the more relaxed you are, the better. If you feel like the sulfur solution is coming up the esophagus, you have that throw up feel, then stop doing anything. Just don't drink anything. Relax until those feelings subside. Create a very safe environment for your stomach, for your whole body. So something over here is the pyloric sphincter. It's kind of like a valve that opens up. So the sulfur solution begins to pass into your small intestines, begins to clean out your small intestines. Your small intestine is very, very dirty. You have never cleaned it up before. You have no idea what type of trash is stuck in there right now. The surface area of your small intestine is big as a football field. That's how big your small intestines is. There is a whole microcosm sitting in your body right now. Drinking down the sulfur solution begins to clean the small intestines, and they're going to push that waste material into the large intestine. And over time, it depends for different people. Drink it at your own pace. You can spend 45 minutes, you can spend 1 hour, an hour and a half drinking this solution down. You want to put down the sulfur solution first. Some people make the mistake of drinking down the sulfur solution and the water. Wrong. Number one, it's going to be way too much liquids. Next, you're diluting down this solution. There has to be a certain viscosity, if you will. Okay, you cannot have this thing diluted. If you dilute this down with this extra water, then it's going to be very tough for the sulfur to work, and that's why a lot of people fail. Okay, their goal is to tiny sips of this water. You're not really drinking it. Tiny sips of this water, and then follow up by the sulfur solution, and tiny sips of this coffee to kind of reward yourself to repeat this process over and over again. That's the goal. What's going to happen is that you're going to have this unction. You're going to be, hey, I want to go to the bathroom now. And when you're going to the bathroom, you want to make sure from where you are sitting to the bathroom, there's no obstructions. There aren't any children's toys, because you're going to go many times. Many times. You have no idea what type of trash is currently stuck in your colon right now. And the solids are first going to come out. And when I first started doing this, it was coming out pitch black. Pitch black. I have never seen, just like, it was like charcoal, you understand? That's how much garbage was trapped inside my body. That's how much hardened fecal matter was stuck in my colon. And over time, the solid material is going to become softer and softer, becomes brown, okay? And then later, it becomes really soft. Then it becomes like a torrent brown water, lots of it. When that happens, when it gets to this transitions over into this really soft poop, I want you to pound on this water safely. to add more water pressure through your digestive tract so you can continue to flush out more waste material from both the small and large intestines. It's going to go through you very, very quickly. What happened just now is that the self-flush solution that you just drank earlier is now in the toilet. It helped push out all the waste material from the small and large intestines. And as you are pounding on this water, creating more water pressure through this pipework, you're going to create a diarrhea tsunami. This is not some type of exaggeration, hyperbole. That's what's going to happen. You're going to blow up your toilet. So make sure your ventilation is going well. You got a fan, you got the fans on, you got the windows open. The smell of this is absolutely horrendous. It's even worse than you're going on the highway and you have to switch to internal air because you can smell somebody ran over a skunk, some type of roadkill. And that smell completely evades your whole car. This is going to be worse, and you can't hide from it. You're just going to have to deal with it because you did this to yourself. And I've been doing this over 5 years. I'm so surprised by the amount of material that comes out of my body. Now, I only do this once a week, okay? Now, some people, you might just do this once every 2 weeks, once every 3 weeks, but find your own rhythm. There are only 52 weeks in a year. Every single week of the year, I'm doing something to improve my health. Not just from an exercise standpoint, not just from eating right, but from a detoxing standpoint, understanding the language of detox. Detox, removing the waste material, removing the toxins out of my body. What toxins? Toxins that have been trapped through chronic constipation. So I'm going to check my social media, take a short break before I continue to move on this presentation. You're on my channel. If you have any questions, somebody's also watching on my YouTube, just leave your comments in here. Let me know what you are dealing with, struggling with. And of course, I think I made a mistake with my live video. Oh well. So how's everyone doing? Any questions, just let me know. I'm going to check the Instagram real quick. We're simultaneously streaming on many different platforms. That's what we do. So somebody's maybe on my Instagram, maybe they're gone now, but if you're on my Instagram, it may be better for you to find me on YouTube. I'm also streaming live on YouTube. So here we go. So chronic constipation. We first talked about waste material not exiting out of the body. I want to demystify and also give you guys some keys to properly poop. One other thing that you can do, get yourself some type of a stool. You can look at this product online, but all it is a stool. It will help you create a squatting position when you're using the restroom. And that will help you tremendously to remove the bowel material out of the body. This convenient sturdy structure is engineered to mirror the angle and efficiency natural squatting while allowing for the luxury and comfort of your own toilet. Before the invention of the modern toilet, everyone used the bathroom in a squatting position. And we have a lot of these squat toilets in Asia, and using them is like night and day because you never have to push very hard or try to get that waste material out of the body. Let me take a quick look. How long have I been on? Because my Instagram kind of just cut off. No big deal. Oh, yeah, it's 1 hour. I'm going to continue to push through. There's so much content. All right, here we go. Want to share some information that's probably currently off your radar screen. Even with all the information that is online, I do not think people are paying attention to this at all. Okay, they might hear about it, they'll be like, I don't believe it. Parasites are very real. Today we're going to go through some different parasites and how they could cause problems in your digestive tract. Many people, they think that while I live in a first world country, this is something that people in the third world country have to deal with. Well, people are finding parasites in their whole food salmon or in their Costco salmon. They're extremely, extremely common. So some parasites I'm going to go over today. You have liver flukes, pinworms, tapeworms, and roundworms. Learning about their life cycle, you guys want to learn this through and through. Not just taking for my word. Go research for yourself. There are different books on parasitology. You can check out books in the library. Go to archive.org. You can go to Library of Congress. This has been studied for a long, long time. But most people don't look into it. And oftentimes they wait until the problem is so severe. Then they start to say, can't find out what's wrong, let's go look if we are infected with parasites. Over here, the liver fluke, they have eggs that will hatch in water. And what they do, they will first find an intermediary host. Parasites that have a way of moving up the food chain. They're very powerful. They know how to extract resources from an intermediary host. They grow to a certain size, and they will end up as some watercress. So for those of you that are eating raw watercress, it's a saying you have to be very careful because you might be eating this liver fluke. The cow or the sheep, they go eat this watercress, and that's how they ingest this parasite into their body. People, they are eating or raising cattle and sheep, they have to deal with the liver flukes almost every year. They have to take different medications to get rid of them. Otherwise, their livestock going to get weak, they're going to get sick, and even die. Now, why do parasites like to attack the liver? The liver stores a lot of valuable minerals and resources. Parasites, they know that too. So they're coming here, they're going to attack this liver. Attacking the liver will give them the nutritional value to survive and replicate. Yesterday I talked about this lady on YouTube. She was sharing about her experience with the liver fluke. And it was the most frustrating experience because she went to see so many different doctors, so many specialists. Even when she was at the ER, the doctor's like, we can't find anything that is wrong with you. But she was double down in pain and discomfort. And finally, they found liver flukes in her liver. It was all up and down this common bile duct, very likely into the cystic duct, which goes into your gallbladder. Now, what are the different types of risks? Okay, people are eating a lot of fancy foods, steak tartars, medium rare steaks, Korean barbecue, sushi, sashimi, a lot of intestine products. There are a lot of people eating intestine products in Asia. Talk to anybody in this industry where they have to go through this mess, clean up this mess, extract all the worms out of this to prep these dishes. Disgusting. I stopped eating all this a long time ago because I started to learn there's a lot of risk. And many people are eating hot pot. Okay, that also has a lot of risk. Some people like to eat frogs. I don't know how common that is in your country. There are different parasites that can target different organs of your body. The liver fluke, they can target your liver. And this particular worm, they can target your kidneys. Humans become incidental hosts after eating undercooked pathogenic hosts, such as this fish or the frog. There are tens and thousands of parasites. In Japan, there is a museum of parasitology. They have about 60,000 parasite specimens, and from my current research, there are about 100 different species of parasites that can nest in one person at a time. When we're dealing with chronic constipation, I think about it in a much deeper way. Could there be other things that's affecting the condition of my colon or the small intestine? Here we have, this is the fish tapeworm, the life cycle of a fish tapeworm. Once again, they go through, they hatch in water, and they're gonna go and first get attacked or get eaten up by some type of an intermediate host, a crustacean. And that crustacean gets eaten up by some type of fish, it goes up the food chain. And now you're ingesting some raw fish, and that's how they end up in your body. Different types of tapeworms, also in pork, also in beef. Okay? And this is what they look like under the microscope. But these are full-blown organisms. They can grow very, very big. They're not just like tiny little things where under the microscope that you can't see with your naked eye. Wrong. They can grow to a humongous size, which I'll explain. This is your anatomy. These are the different suckers that can hook on to your small and large intestines. So they're firmly planted, and these are the rostellum. This is the hooking mechanism, and they're just sucking the life force out of you. Sucking the life force out of you. This is your anatomy. This is the head portion. These are the suckers that I just talked about. Rostellum. And they have a lot of these grids. What these grids are, these are called progonids. Progonids is a reproductive system. The tapeworm is a hermaphrodite. They can reproduce by themselves very, very effectively. Each progonid can have at least 100,000 eggs. If you have a tapeworm that has 1,000 of these progonids, you do the simple multiplication, that's 100 million eggs right there. These are full-blown organisms. It's a serious problem in Asia and many different parts of the world because people love to eat their raw fish these days. A 59 feet long tapeworm removed from Thai man's rectum. This pic goes viral, okay? Just how long is 59 feet? It's roughly 18 meters. Now, just how long is 18 meters? Earlier we were talking about this NBA basketball hoop, okay? From that floor to that basketball rim is 3 meters. This tapeworm is 18. So we're talking about 6 NBA hoops, one on top of another, and that's the entire length of that parasite. And you're not just dealing with one. As I shared with before, parasites are very good at doing two things. They know how to survive and replicate. What are some other risks you may have? Just through your pets. Look up this keyword, it's called zoonotic disease. Z-O-O-N-O-T-I-C. There are different diseases that can transfer from animals to humans. Over here we have a cat. They're dealing with parasites. They're dealing with the tapeworm. And even the cat is freaked out. Over here you have an American bully pooping out a lot of worms. These are likely roundworms, the scarus. And here we have a cat. There's some type of parasite that is trapped in her nasal area. This could be a botfly, okay? and study up on their life cycle. Botflies are very common in Africa. There are even parasites, they're so powerful that can go behind the back of your eye, which will cause blindness. You can look up river blindness in Africa. Potential risks through your pets. A lot of people that are letting their pets just lick them all day, every day, making a lot of cute social media photos and videos like this with your children. If you're not detoxing your dog or deworming your dog, and you wonder why your little Timmy is having this and that and the third problem here and there, unresolved, looking at this doctor, they can't fix it, go to that doctor, they can't fix it, the problem persists, corticosteroids, symptom flare-ups, comes and goes. Could it be parasites? It could. Raw foods, and for those of you that got the travel bug, you want to travel the world, that's great. But before you travel, do you know how to purify water? For those of you who want to go to the Amazon, do your ayahuasca ceremonies, go to Indonesia, go to having like this jungle experience, making YouTube videos, that's all great, go do it. But if you're ingesting water that's contaminated, you're going to come back worse off. Eating raw foods and watercress, right? There's vegetation that parasites can just go on and be on the vegetation, and you're ingesting that raw food, you will get parasites. Let me just check my videos real quick. Somebody's on my YouTube, type in your questions. Don't be shy. I may not get to it right away. I'm just going through these slides. We're talking about chronic constipation and how you potentially fix it. We discovered or talked about getting the waste material out, but now I'm focusing on, all right, there may be other factors. In addition to the waste material, you need to look into internal parasites and study parasites one by one, not just listen to me. None of this professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment, okay? Here's a very gruesome picture. Here is somebody, their parasite infection got so bad they had to get medical procedures done. They had to get a surgery done. This is not Animal Planet. This is a human being, and they're extracting roundworms out of the large intestine. If you have that many roundworms coming out like spaghetti, your poop, it's going to have a tough time going through that pipe to exit. A lot of stomach cramps and pain, nausea, unexplained weight loss or weight gain, swollen lymph nodes, digestive problems including constipation, diarrhea, persistent gas, skin issues such as rashes, eczema, hives, and itching. Also, do you guys realize all these parasites, they have to use the restroom? Where are they going to use the restroom? Right inside your body. Now, we're focused primarily on the digestive system, but also recognizing that parasites are very powerful. They can go outside of your digestive tract. This is a CT scan of a cysticercosis patient. Parasites have gone outside of their digestive tract, start to attack different muscle areas. And this is neurocysticercosis, where parasites have gone outside of the digestive tract and start to begin to attack their brain. Okay, how do parasites do that? And I wonder, could it be connected with all these inflammatory problems currently taking place inside the large intestine? For example, let's just say if you're dealing with chronic constipation, over here you're dealing with diverticulitis, inflammation here, you may get a slight perforation. Before, that parasite was inside this large intestine. Now it's going out. Does that make sense? Or you're dealing with some type of a tear, some anal fissure, and parasites are taking this opportunity to go through here, right into your bloodstream. Now, a particular parasite that attacks your rectum, where people find a lot of anal itching, could be this. This is pinworms, very common in children, but they're also common in adults. So you find a child, a toddler, that's always scratching their behind. They can't, even though they're wiping down cleanly, but they're still dealing with this. They may be dealing with pinworms. Adults, some people are also dealing with this. Many adults are. I'm not talking small amount. According to PubMed, okay, let me just read this here. So this particular parasite is very common, affecting almost 1 billion people worldwide from all socioeconomic classes. In the United States, affects 20 to 42 million people, with a high prevalence among children. What other problems could you have? Insomnia, restlessness, irritability, impetigo of scratched skin, vulvovaginitis, problem on top of problems, all related to the digestive tract. Now I'm going to give you solutions too, but none of this is professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. There's some herbal products you want to look into. This is clove bud. This is wormwood. So there are natural products out there that have shown to be effective against internal parasites. There are OTC medications, mebendazole, Vermox. You will be able to find them in your local pharmacy, even with self-prescription. Over here, black walnut, wormwood combination, tincture form. Wormwood combination, this is in pill form. For your pets, you can look into Panicure C. This is for dogs, and you want to find the right treatment for your dog, because you have different sizes of dogs, right? So you're going to want to buy the right one for you. This is only for small little dogs. So each packet treats 10 pounds. So this is a small dog, and they have different packages for bigger dogs. And if you want to move up the chain, you can talk to your doctor. If you really identify some very serious parasites, they may prescribe albendazole, other products that are out there. So you have to work with the doctor with stuff like this. Evaluate different products on the market. There are herbal blends using herbs, and there are also medications over the counter, also prescription strength. Now, everything begins cleaning out the small and large intestines. A lot of people, they might look at this presentation and begin to freak out. They're like, I'm going to have to buy all this right away. I don't recommend that. You want to first learn how to clean out this pipework. Clean out the small and large intestines combined. Go from the picture on the left to the picture on the right. Consistently. Doing this on a regular basis, you have this confidence that when I perform some type of a procedure, whether that's colon hydrotherapy or I put together a self-flush protocol, I can produce this laxative effect. I can blast out the waste material inside of me. That's where you got to begin, some way, somehow. And maybe in the future, I find a better protocol, and I'll share that with y'all as well. But this is the one that has produced the best results for myself and my clients all over the world, which produces a diarrhea tsunami, blasting out the waste material from the behind. Now, when you're dealing with internal parasites, a lot of people just begin taking these medications. The problem is that if they cannot produce this laxative effect, you're going to have problems on top of problems, because right here, you still have trapped waste material. Now you have a whole bunch of dead parasites sitting inside of you, whole bunch of dead carcasses sitting inside of you, and you have no way of getting them out. Do you think you're going to be in a good condition in that state? Is it going to be better for you? I think not. Of course, not professional medical advice, diet, or treatment. Get really good at getting the waste material out. Then take these different herbal blends, Excuse me. And after you take them, then do my protocol so you can flush them all out. Flush out the dead carcasses. Does that kind of make sense? If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments below. Yeah, thank you for stopping by. I see people are kind of watching on my YouTube. Welcome, welcome. And my presentations are long, but I share a lot of information that could be very helpful on your health journey, right? Because oftentimes it's like, I want a quick solution. I want a quick solution. I want to go back to what I'm doing. What I'm introducing is a lifestyle. It's not something you just do one time and set aside. It becomes your routine. However often that routine is, it becomes a routine. Just like how you brush your teeth is a routine. How you shower is a routine. How you clean yourself from the inside, it becomes a routine. It's part of your calendar, so you're scheduling all your other events around these detox protocols. And that's what I do. And that's what I've been helping my own family members to do, and helping my friends, helping my clients. A lot of you don't know who I am. Just going to share a little bit about who I am. I'm just another regular guy. And I've been on this health journey for a long time. Had a lot of dead ends, but I also learned a lot through the dead ends. This was me in Southern California. I had a lot of excess body weight, try to get rid of. I was very determined. I was actually going to the gym very often. I had a personal trainer. I was not able to get the results that I wanted, which is this picture on the right. People want six-pack abs. I wanted six-pack abs. Did not matter how many crunches I was doing at the gym. I could not get the results. Until I started to get the waste material out of my body begins to restore itself, begins to slim down. All the sinus congestions are gone. Your mental clarity is restored. Your optimism for the future is restored, right? Because when you feel good, you look good. When you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, you play good. When you play good, they pay good. As Deion Sanders would say. Over here, this is Southern California. A lot of inflammation around the face area, holding on to water, holding on to excess body weight. It's all the result of internal inflammation. Once I start to clean myself from the inside, even though I'm not killing myself at the gym, I have a six-pack ab all year round. I look like this all year round. I'm not even at the gym. The last couple of years, I stopped going to the gym because all I have to do is do some basic exercises, getting my sprints in, and when I come back home, I have some weights. I do some weights, do some stretchings, that's it. You really do not need to go to the gym to have an excellent body. And I have not rebounded for years. This is past 5 years or so, I have not weight loss rebound at all. And that's what you get when you start to understand your body, your functions in the body, getting the waste material out. And I have improved upon this knowledge. There's so many things that I've done in addition to cleaning out my internal organs, not just the small and large intestines. I also removed and eliminated plenty of internal parasites. Moreover, I started to learn about this liver, learn about how the gallbladder works, how there could be gallstones that are trapped inside this gallbladder. I have flushed out so many gallstones out of this gallbladder. Most people, they don't even know about this until it's too late. Once again, if you're watching this, if you're not getting any gallbladder attacks, you should say thank you. But you should also learn how to get the gallstones out of your body, because more than likely, you have them. I have flushed out so many gallstones and liver stones, it is unbelievable. And the book that I read was from Andreas Moore. So I'll share the book with you, the book that I read, so you guys can look into this for yourself. Okay? The book is called The Liver and Gallbladder. Where is that book? Look up Andreas Moore. Oh my goodness. It has so much information. The Liver and Gallbladder Flush by Andreas Moritz. I think that's the name of the book. I've been diligently flushing out the gallstones out of the gallbladder, and that's been another huge upgrade to my own personal health. Reclaiming my internal organs one by one. First, I have to understand them. How do they function? And how do I clean it out? And that's been my basis of improving my own personal health for the past 5+ years. How are all these different organs connected together? Okay? And how everything gets dropped into the duodenum, which is the small intestine. Not going to get into super detail about this for today. Today we're going to cover a lot of material. So I want to go through any questions you may have in the social media comments. And thank y'all for jumping on this call. Hopefully today this presentation will give you more information for you to do additional research. Not just taking my word for what I share, but really recognizing with a healthy dose of practical pessimism, going forward with a healthy dose of practical pessimism. This is what you're trying to avoid. You want to avoid this toxic megacolon. You want to avoid colectomies, different forms of colectomies. You want to avoid a colon severely displaced. You want to avoid diverticulitis, avoid ulcerative colitis, avoid Crohn's disease, avoid rectal prolapse, avoid going to see a proctologist, avoid anal fissures, avoid hemorrhoids. Well, all I'm saying is it may have something to do with chronic constipation and internal parasites. That's all your boy is saying, okay? But it's just so off the radar. And look at the verbiage that they use. It's always very cryptic. While several factors are thought to be linked to rectal prolapse, there's no clear-cut cause. Always making it very complicated. Genetic predisposition. Some patients are more prone, based on their genes, to develop this condition, while others don't. We just don't know. Yeah, so if you have any questions, just type it in the chat. If not, I'm just going to close down. And I highly recommend, if you're watching this, you want to do the selfish protocol, I will be leaving the link in the comments or in the down below in the comments later on the social media. And if you want to work with me one-on-one, you want to just use my Instagram and just chat with me. Let's get on a call. I don't even know if I could help you out, but I want to take the time to learn about where you're coming from. Okay? And give you some extra tools on your journey to recover your health. So once again, thanks so much for watching this. I don't think people are leaving any comments. And if you have any questions, just reach out to me on social media, and I will continue doing these videos